Was Charlie Kirk cremated? Things are exploding in the Charlie Kirk case, and new questions have come up about what really happened to his body. Candace Owens is now asking whether Charlie was quietly cremated. And people are asking this because we've heard strange things about the autopsy from day number one.
So I did do the request. They emailed me back. He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital.
We've also heard claims that the hospital where Charlie was taken to had brand new staff.
Also, I told you there was a new CEO and therefore a new lead surgeon, Andrew Zenger, over at the hospital, the regional hospital that Charlie was taken to. Although that was not the nearest hospital, I was also informed that the coroner in this case was also brand spanking new. That name has not yet been released. I am told that person is new. Okay.
Now, Erika Kirk has repeatedly said she doesn't want to answer these questions.
Talk to me about this part of the conspiracies that are out there, this disturbing part that people are trying to guess where Charlie is.
Can I have one thing? Can I have one thing? Can my children have one thing? Everything was public. We will be building the most beautiful memorial for my husband at Turning Point USA, and it will be for the world to see, and it will be spectacular, and it will have basically museum style for our Charlie, for my Charlie. But can I have one thing? Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying?
And some people agree she has every right to keep this information private. However, others argue that privacy is harder to expect after she shared her photos and videos with Charlie's embalmed body to introduce herself to the world.
I love you. I know. I love you. I love you. God bless you.
And since we're talking about this, people are starting to notice something very strange about Erika Kirk. Why is she always seemingly mic'd up or has a camera in her face every time she cries privately?
I just want to go find
Moving on, let's talk about AI. People are losing their minds over this. Sam Altman has just declared that they've achieved singularity.
And the thing that drives me the most is like, this is the most interesting, important thing I can imagine doing. And we are now like in the singularity. Like this is the moment. For the last 10 years ago, this was like a kind of far off dream at best. It seemed very improbable. And now we're like actually in the moment that we used to like talk about at the lunch table in a very not serious way.
He's even going to the White House to basically show off his most powerful new model. But let me tell you why people are calling all of this just corporate BS. You see, they're doing this right at a time when the world is getting tired of this AI hype. That's why stocks of all these chip makers are falling all at once.
The AI bubble is not going to burst. It already has. Earlier this week, Google just posted their first earnings call in the 22 years that they have been a publicly traded company where they lost money. Google lost money. This is earth-shattering in a number of ways. Number one being that Google's AI infrastructure is probably the best, aside from maybe Anthropic, that is currently on the market. It was also one of the few that actually had a business model that made any sort of sense. And again, this is Google we're talking about. This is like one of the 5 biggest companies on the planet. One of the 5 biggest companies on the planet that has been one of the biggest companies on the planet since, the beginning of the internet.
So the hype about this new model can help these companies more than you can imagine. As for what Sam Altman said, people are finding it hard to trust him when he also said this in the interview.
Hugely positive, awesome for the world. I'm excited to get to work on that. I also think some of the alternative visions painted by other companies are like quite terrifying. I'm gonna make sure that gets pushed against and is not what happens.
You can see he's calling out his competitors for making AI look scary. But Sam himself has painted very terrifying and realistic images of AI on many different occasions.
Limits. But you will have no freedom. You will have no agency. It will be a perfect surveillance state. There will be no privacy. And that's what you're gonna get. You're going to get great comfort, but there will be nothing left in the world for you to really do, nothing that really matters. You'll just kind of live at the, service of the AI giving you real wealth.
So, do you think he's really created Skynet, or is this just another marketing campaign for AI? And since we're talking about AI, this is straight out of 1984. The AI companies are now bulk buying physical copies of antique books. They're training their models on these books and destroying them so no one else can read the original versions.
All right, y'all, we got a major problem here. It's coming out now that the big AI companies are bulk buying thousands of books, using them as training data, and then destroying them. And a lot of these books are rare antique copies that are now out of print, which means that these AI companies have been destroying originals that likely can't be found anywhere else. And this is also different from the Anthropic settlement that we covered last week, where they were using pirated books for their training data. This one is way worse, as they're buying physical copies and destroying them in mass. We're looking at Orwell's 1984 in action. These companies are destroying history by the thousands to the millions, and then locking it up in their databases where only they have access. Which of course means that only they have control of the output. If you've ever read 1984, this is exactly what happened. All records, all books were destroyed, rewritten, and falsified so that they can control the narrative and the way people think.
They've found a legal loophole, so we can't even stop them from doing this.
A federal judge has even ruled that this practice is considered fair use, because if you eliminate the original, it means that only one copy of the book remains at a time. Nobody in the pipeline is actively checking whether these books are the last book ever to be on Earth. And so not only are classic books being destroyed, but historical records are. Local histories, self-published memoirs of wars, and more. And it's all happening during this massive AI boom as we speak.
You're not going to believe this. Ford is remotely shutting down brand new trucks if the owners miss any payments. At least that's what the owner of this Bronco claimed in a viral video.
Is it because I didn't make my payment on my Ford Bronco? Ford shut down my car because the payment is late? Dang, that's rough. That's like a scam, right? So my brand new Bronco with 3,000 miles on it is broke down in the middle of... I don't think Ford realizes how rough it is out here. Doing my best. I mean, I could be killed. I'm in like 60-mile-an-hour traffic here. My truck, broken. I could be killed. Expressway.
Now, if you dig deeper into this, you'll find out something very strange. Officially, Ford still hasn't installed the technology to remotely repossess vehicles. It's still just a patent. But here's the thing, they don't need any new technology to shut down your car. Their Start Inhibit feature is already part of every new vehicle, meaning they can remotely shut down your car if it gets stolen. The technology is already there, and that's exactly why people think they can shut down your car whenever they want, even if you're in the middle of a very busy road. And this madness isn't stopping with cars. A woman just had a breakdown after her old HP printer refused to print for her, all because she was not using the expensive new ink. And now people are wondering, Do we even own anything anymore?
I'm so sick of capitalism, bro. Because, like, seriously, what do you mean? What do you mean I've had this printer for 5 fucking years? Okay, I've never connected it to Wi-Fi, ever. I have the cord that goes directly into my fucking system, right? I'm trying to make Zelda characters for my daughter's birthday. That's in 2 fucking days. I go to print, and nothing's happening. I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on, right? Well, look, here, I have my little fancy schmancy ink. I've been using the On ink because it's literally like $40 fucking cheaper forever. For literally ever. But I've been getting this message every time. You need to connect to Wi-Fi. You need to connect to Wi-Fi. You're going to lose the ability to print soon. I'm like, dude, it shouldn't matter, right? Because I have it directly plugged into the computer. What does Wi-Fi have anything to do with it when you have the cord directly plugged in to the hard drive, right? So I was ignoring it. Well, went print, right? So I'm like, okay, finally. It's like, you need to connect to Wi-Fi. You need to connect to Wi-Fi. I was like, okay, finally I connected to Wi-Fi. You see that the ink, it's full. So it's registering the ink, obviously enough to register the levels and stuff like that, right? I go to print. Ready? The indicated cartridges have been identified as altered or cloned. HP printers require original HP. Those are like $40 more.
This is insane. Remember when Katy Perry and Lauren Sanchez became astronauts and went into outer space? At least that's what they wanted you to believe.
Got it? 1, 2, 3, take up space! Oh, the moon! You guys, I have to tell you, look at the moon.
You'll probably remember that some people online claimed the mission wasn't real. Certain clips from the flight only fueled more speculation.
Literally, it's giving cringe. Please stop. I have secondhand embarrassment. They were gone for 25 years. They had to come back and kiss the ground, aka 11 minutes. I have questions. Like, why is there no footage of them actually in the rocket on the way up? And if they all said this was their dream, why did they spend that whole 6 minutes staring into a camera? Even the jet pilots that go super high in the air have to wear those oxygen masks. Where are these women's oxygen masks? Helmets. Shouldn't they have helmets on, especially with how hard impact is supposed to be? Screw safety. Just get your hair done really cute, so when you're up in space, you get that perfect angle. And why on earth is there always some way to find a connection between these people in Hollywood and things like this?
Okay, now I want you to watch the hatch door open from the inside. The lady runs over there real quick, says, no, shuts the door back, tries to stand in front of it. And then, actually, she starts laughing about it, as you can see right here, because, like I said, it's all staged. It has to look like it's open from the outside.
But even those critics kept asking one question. Why? Why would anyone stage a fake space mission? Well, those people now think they have an answer. You see, NASA has selected Blue Origin to help develop a lunar lander for future Artemis missions, meaning Blue Origin is now a direct competitor of SpaceX, a company that just set the record for the largest IPO in history. Some people have gone even further. They think it's all part of the fake space race between China and the US.
Yeah, I think space is bullshit. I think we don't have the technology to get to the moon. I don't think there's any point in getting to the moon. And I think that China and America are working very closely to create this illusion of the space race.
Did CERN just bring a new element into our universe? And even more importantly, where did it come from?
Every time they go smashing atoms together at CERN, are we jumping timelines?
Yeah. Well, the idea of the CERN is that you can create a new molecule. By smashing two molecules together, you knock the electrons off of one and then make a new particle. That's the whole idea of it. A lot of times it doesn't work, but, they still try over and over again to see if they can make... The whole idea is to try to make chemical compositions that are more stable than trying to... create new things,
Right.
like aluminum and titanium and stuff like that. You could make a new particle instead of trying to reformulate things, so that it naturally exists in like a crystalline form.
Well, that's also part of what is it? Unpentium is now
Moscovium. Yeah.
That's also how they're trying to create Moscovium. Is they're trying to smash particles together to actually create it because it doesn't exist here on Earth.
Yeah.
So, which would be basically free energy.
Yeah.
So if we could create Moscovium,
and the thing that you have to understand about the way this system works, which is what blew me away, is that CERN smashed two particles together and made a new element, right? And then at that exact second, a scientist in Brazil discovered that element.
So basically, it brought that element into existence,
Right, in our system,
in our universe.
Started to exist because they created it.
This will make you sick. Apparently, they've been tracking and profiling kids through their school-issued Google accounts.
They've got the kids, guys. They've got the kids. You know that Google account you get when you're going through K to 12? Well, it turns out that it is not just for schoolwork. A company called Go Guardian is currently monitoring over half of all the kids through K to 12, and you won't fucking believe what they're doing. Not only are they using AI to watch every single thing they do when they're signed into that Google account, that even includes every message they type back and forth to ChatGPT or AI, but they're using that to create a risk profile on each student. What the fuck?
The Del Monte situation just got worse. The USDA is now paying farmers millions of dollars to rip up 3,000 acres of peach orchards. This plan will cost these farmers $550 million in revenue and create an artificial shortage of canned peaches. Why? Well, all because a single company went bankrupt.
Right now, 500,000 peach trees are being ripped out of the ground and then set on fire. And it's largely because of one company.
Del Monte, known for its canned fruits and vegetables, has filed for bankruptcy.
The nearly 140-year-old company recently initiated bankruptcy proceedings, leaving cultivators with a whole lot of fruit they can't sell.
On July 1st, 2025, Del Monte declared bankruptcy, but they still told their farmers that their contracts were safe. They told them they were going to be able to sell the company and everything would be okay. But that turned out not to be the case.
Now, workers tell us that they're still in a state of shock after finding out this news.
We never thought the name Del Monte would go away, ever. We thought that was kind of guaranteed.
The cost from losing all of these contracts with growers is going to total over $500 million.
And now the USDA is giving farmers $9 million to rip up their peach orchards and convert to a different crop. I'm bringing you this story not just because it's shocking, but because I believe that it might represent a major shift in where our food is grown.